dust. Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm going to go ahead and get into reading. I want to show y'all something. That way you can Google it, and if you want it, or if you have it, then just let everybody know you have it and you like how it works. All right. Some of you are ex-military, so you know about the other things I'm going to show you. This is the gravity water filtration system. Now, I have 3 of them. So one's over the open I use for camping. Like if I go to Wild Week and they have a tree, I hang it up and I'll just go to the river and get water out. Well, I don't do it no more because I learned about people coming here and dumping their people's ashes in the water, but it'll cleanse it out. And it's really nice because you set it up in a tree, gravity filters, and water's good to go. If you're a little worried about you don't have a way to boil it, I'm gonna show some of that later. Later I'm gonna come on and show you some things, all right? This is a small one for camping. Now I keep 2 of these in my emergency, I guess they call it bug out bag. I keep 2 of these, and this is excellent. You know what I'm saying? But along with these, now I've got better ones, my life straws and all that kind of stuff. The life straws, this is kind of like a life straw, but the life straw takes care of like 99% of all kind of, bad stuff. Now, other than that, I always keep at least 12 nets because depending on what goes on, what's laying around that's not moving anymore, I know in Canada, when I was there, they had these things like these little black flies. They bite. Now, they've been known, like Nebraska, certain places up to the northern hemisphere, but they can, based upon what all they're doing with the weather. Them things like in Puerto Rico, we call them screaming mimis. They used to tear us up. After my second deployment to Puerto Rico, I never got bit again. So soft and all that stuff, they love it. It's like candy. It didn't work. We'd be out there hungover, 2 hours of sleep, out in the hot cargo on this big thing. And for those who know about Puerto Rico, the base over there for weapons testing, bombs and all that, them things tear you up. So for 3 or 4 days straight out there, I didn't even drink. Like after the second night of partying, 2 hours a night, we're out there lifting heavy. Yeah, I'm 19, 20, whatever, right? But regardless of that, them mimis, forget it. I wanted North Carolina mosquitoes. Louisiana mosquitoes that hit me. Well, the mosquitoes kill over 1 million people a year. But regardless, the mimis, that's what we call them. They're gnats of some sort, but they got teeth. Like West Side probably know them. They're vampire. The tiniest little microbial vampire, big teeth having things. These nets are fabulous. And they even have the parts that go over the gloves. So I keep about 12 of them. The other thing, for you guys who have been in the military, take these glasses off. I don't know why I keep putting this habit for me. My eyes actually, vision is a lot better. Now, this is emergency drinking water germicidal tablets with PA+, no iodine taste or color. So you don't get the taste of the iodine that's in there and everything. So it removes the iodine taste and color. So it makes questionable water bacteriologically suitable to drink, ideal for camping, hiking, and travel. You don't have to boil. So my thing is, like, I'll still boil water if I get it from, might have been some dead animals in it. And then I'll add these 2 tablets. Okay. This one's a little worn out. I've got a couple other ones. I just grabbed the one on the top. But these tablets, fabulous. As far as allowing that murky water that you ran through a couple times and got clear, there still might be some microbial things in there that can do some damage in your gut, depending on the level of your own amoebas and everything. So I just wanted to show this little 4 things, okay? Later, I'll show you some other stuff. I'm not going to show you everything, but I'll show you some other stuff. So the other one is the Sawyers. And you can get the Sawyers, American made, not made in China, for those who have an issue with things made in China. I do with some things because it's been about the dollar and its agenda. But before that, they were actually putting out some decent stuff, other than the stuff that was causing cancer and a lot of toxicity and poisons in babies and stuff like that within Gerber. when people started losing their jobs, all right? But hey, let's go ahead and get into reading, because I don't want to, but I got to run out, and I got to call Compass Health, all right? Will you stop tearing up the carpet, bro? You got the thing over there, scratch on it. The scratchy post thing. I think I'm going to roll it all up and just see how you do scratching on the wooden floor. George Jones, An Original History of Ancient America. Original History of the Ancient America. It was, for those who don't know, you can go back to what I'm reading, where it says read or book time, okay, and then catch up. It was in consequence of this departure from the God of Israel that Elijah, and it says Ahijah, prophesied to Jeroboam that he should have 10 of the tribes of Abraham for his kingdom. In the time of Solomon's son and successor Rehoboam, Ashtaroth and Astarte, the goddess of the Sidonians and Tyrians, they are one and the same. That's what it's alluding to when you're looking at Elijah and Jeroboam, is Ashtaroth and Astarte. That's what they're alluding to. Now, with attempting here a refutation of the assertion by aesthetical, I was just reading 1491 and 1493, excuse me, guys, by aesthetical or deistical writers, that the monogram of Christ, which is I think this is the P, it looks like an upside down sword, or a sword facing down with the X. It's not in here, but I believe that's what they're talking about when you talk about the monogram. You know, you ever seen that with the little sword, it looks like, and then it has the X? That's the monogram of Christ, for those who don't know. Was known 6 centuries before the Nativity. It would be sufficient, oh, it is in there. Wow. It would be sufficient for our present purpose to establish that the cross was a Tyrian emblem. Now, more than 300 years anterior to the time of Tiberius, for that period, 332 BC, we must again remark we are illustrating. We must remark that we are illustrating. It was also known in the time of Solomon for he worshipped the Tyrian Astarte, okay, whose symbol was the cross, and this was more than 1,000 years before the crucifixion. Now, when we get all into this Tyrian, that's based on Tartary, but they have to spend something to create a new world history, you know. It's just what it is. They came to America, and that's when they first decided to use white and to create a white superiority with all those little orphans, to give them some kind of meaning who their parents they made slaves to build up what they were destroying, if you get what I'm coming from. And this was more than 1,000 years before the crucifixion. Remember that. Here then is a more remote period for knowledge of the cross as an emblem than that assumed by skeptics. It is brought forward because it is the truth. And why did not deistical writers trace it to the time of Solomon? And they knew, and if they did, that it would prove a strong link in the chain of Christianity. And therefore, for their own purpose, they avoided it. We will shew this as we proceed. Shew is the same as show, okay? In Calmet's dictionary of the Bible is found a pictorial representation of the coins of ancient nations. I know, like Greece and Rome, they were all Negroes. I mean, let's see what they say. I've seen the coins, y'all. I've been to Edinburgh, Scotland. I've been to Greece. I've been there. And I'm like, what was all these Negroes and these statues? Even old porcelain. And we always look at the Olmec heads. There are thousands of other statues that show Negroes. Afros, curly shags, no Mongols or any of that. So let's keep going. In Calmet's dictionary of the Bible is found a pictorial representation of the coins of ancient nations. In the plates given, those of Sidon and Tyrus, both must be viewed as one, is the figure of Astarte, surrounded by the words the Sidonian goddess, in the old Phoenician characters. Now, I wonder who they have as the Sidonian goddess. I didn't pull it up because I just wanted to read. But we're going to get reading. I'm going to see if I can pull it up. Yeah, I spelled it wrong. Oh, I spelled it correct. I spelled it correct. Ain't that something? If we can pull it up, oh, bada boom, bada bang. Now let's see if they did a whitewash number. Pull that picture up for yourselves. That is and there you have it. Yeah. You can pull it up, and it talks about Jeremiah 44:77, blah, blah, and it goes on and on and on. And then they have coins and all that. Look, y'all can pull all that up, all right? And you can check it out when that painted and compare it to the statues and everything else. You know, there's a lot of stuff that was been made brand new that has nothing to do with the truth of history, but more fabricated lies. Here, let me show you this one. Okay, I just wanted to share that. Let's get back to reading. Thank you, George Orwell, Mark Twain, and so on and so on. Excuse me. By the words, the Sidonian goddess in the old Phoenician characters, she is standing on the fore part of a galley, emblem of Tyrian navigation, full robe, the classic measure on her head, a branch in her right hand. In the parentheses it states, emblem of peace and reward, end. And in her left hand, a long cross, emblem of war and punishment. Yeah, that was what that was. Yeah, they just changed it over. I don't know why they do that. Anyway, yeah, it's okay. Emblem of war and punishment. Now, the proportions are the same as the sacred one used at Mount Calvary. It is upright and slightly inclines, like a scepter, across the inner part of the upper arm of the goddess. And now the following are comments, remarks on the coins. Number 4, Astarte, holding, it sounds like a sweetener, Aspartate, right? Holding a cross, standing on a ship, a galley, to mind you, the measure on her head, and number 12, Astarte, standing in her temple, holding the long cross in her hand, the shell supposed to allude to the Tyrian die. Now, in the Exergu, an altar, for example, of perpetual fire, Statue of Liberty, mind you, okay, internal or perpetual fire, burning before the temple, and it will be observed that the above manner of alluding to the cross of the Tyrian goddess is too positive, and in parentheses, and with the coins as witnesses, to admit even of a doubt of its being an emblem of the Tyrians, and many centuries before the period contemplated by this volume, as far as in 332 BC. They then possess the cross. And among the ancients, they appear to have been the only people, with the exception of the Egyptians, who probably copied it from the Phoenicians. Phoenicians, remember we've been reading? To illustrate their own worship of the moon. And what did Enlil build? What was done when they said, let's go to the east, Asia Superior, right? And let's create a new race. Okay. The Egyptian emblem was thus, I think it was like that with the little cross on the bottom. Isn't that significant to, let me see if I can pull it up. Let's see if they pull it up. Yeah. All right, let me see if I can grasp this one. That right there, the male symbol, that's the female. That's it. I'm just saying. Messenger. And this has been falsely called the sacred monogram. For the moon is shown by the circle, and the cross was her general emblem, her. What is the sun? The female energy, right? Nourishes. Astarte carried a cross merely as an emblem of punishment. Now, the moon could be a satellite put there by an enemy, but the moons are everywhere, right? Well, haven't they been? They know 178 world. I'm just saying. Anyway, merely as an emblem of punishment. Wow, that's what it says, y'all. Astarte carried a cross merely as an emblem of punishment. So people just wear their punishment around their necks, huh? As her olive or palm branch was emblematical of reward, Solomon worshipped her and her attributes upon his leaving the one God. From David descended the husband of the Savior's mother, as also the Virgin herself. And after the crucifixion, the cross became the emblem of salvation and was no more viewed as a symbol of idolatry, as in the time of David's son, or of a degraded death, as in the time of Tiberius. May there not, in this very change of the character of the emblem in regard to its attribute of worship, from punishment to atonement, and by the converted disciples from the same chosen people, be a mysterious token of the great precept by the divine God, that from evil cometh good. Now we believe everything tending to the glory of the Creator, and even if the monogram used by Constantine did exist centuries before the time of Christ, but which we deny, yet viewing that subject with an eye of faith, it would be found to illustrate the prophets and not detract from them of their prophecies. Shoot the messenger, not the message. Don't kill the messenger, but hold on and be wary of the message. Which one should it be? I always say, pay attention to the messenger's message. That's all I ever say. Excuse me. Now, but which we deny, yet viewing that subject with an eye of faith, it would be found to illustrate the prophets and not detract from them or their prophecies. We have digressed, though, and the reader requires no apology. The subject will speak for us. In the Mexican ruins, numerous instances are found of the cross. It is in sculpture and stucco. Some small apertures bear the same form, and thus the plus sign, the positive sign or cross, as you may allude, the lower part being inconvenient for a specific adaptation. It was not therefore used. In one of the minor temples at Palenque, the cross with the lower part is distinct, and so is the ankh, to which it alludes, and in full proportion, thus proving the long cross of Astarte, the Tyrian goddess, to be upon the ruins in ancient America. We know it's not called America, but for the sake of sake. But without that, in parentheses, it says, for we desire to reserve the sculpture containing the long cross for a future application, and the numerous crosses of a minor character upon the other ruins are sufficient to testify to the worship or knowledge of Astarte and her symbolical attributes being known to the Mexican Aborigines. Could that be a certain individual we talked about? and the Anunnaki are the gods of Eden? Who knows, right? The numerous, anyway, and her symbolical attributes being known to the Mexican Aborigines. Known to the Aborigines. Now, another analogy is in the altars of perpetual fire, and they're being watched by the virgins of the sun. This was virgins of the sun. This was practiced by the Tyrians as a branch of their worship of the god of fire, Apollo. And the Roman Vestals were copied from those of Phoenicia. The same horrid punishment copied from Phoenicia. Same horrid punishment attended the loss of virtue by a virgin of the sun. Both in Tyre and Mexico, this was also imitated by the Romans. Was it imitated or something that was worldwide or earth, the basis of our place of life, right? We have no history tracing to us, obscene worship of Phaeopus or Baal Peor to the Tyrians, nor was it found among the Mexicans. So Baal is nothing to do with us, B-A-A-L people. And as far as in its order of origin, P-E-O-R, pure. Though it was practiced by the Egyptians and even by the all-accomplished Greeks, this was over 2,000 years ago. Now, the non-existence of this generative and religious worship by both Tyrians and Mexicans, although practiced by other ancient nations, must be regarded as another proof of identity. For identity can be proved by a negative, with equal power to an affirmative custom. Now, the strong analogies in religion must be apparent to the reader. Now, they're using religion in all those terms. It's not all terms. That's their construct, to which I keep alluding that you must digress and remove from your libation. Do not drink of it, if you get what I'm saying. Okay? I'm going to read the bottom part, and we'll be going on to the next page. It will scarcely be believed that so late as 1780 AD, the votive worship was practiced as Isernia, only 50 miles from Naples. I hated Naples, Italy. That's where we saw the woman. Was it Naples? I'll get back into that later. Upon authority of Sir William Hamilton, that 3 days in September were given to this worship, which the priests called the Fête of Saint Cosmo, and at which maids, wives, and widows publicly joined in devotion. The King of Naples abolished it upon the proof by Sir William Hamilton, GeorgeJones. Next, we'll be getting into section 2. Okay, so I'm going to mark that. The national and political analogies, historical and traditions, and a translation of the hieroglyphical altar of Copan, etc. It's pretty freaking interesting, right? Pretty interesting. Up the Koestler, the 13th tribe. We jumped a little ahead, remember? So let's go ahead and tidy this up. My apologies. And y'all know GeorgeJones, for those who might want to order the book, okay? I think Oklahoma did. Up the Koestler, the 13th tribe. Let's get into it. The selective pressures active within the ghetto walls must have been of an intensity rarely encountered in history. For one thing, since the Jews were debarred from agriculture, they became completely urbanized, concentrated in towns or chatels, which became increasingly overcrowded as a result, to quote Shapiro, the devastating epidemics that swept medieval cities and towns would in the long run have been more selective on Jewish populations than on any others, leaving them with progressively greater immunity as time went on. And their modern descendants would therefore represent the survivors of a rigorous and specific selective process. This, he thinks, may account for the rarity of tuberculosis among Jews and their relative longevity, amply illustrated by statistics collected by Fishberg. That's not the case. We lived longer, yet poison and everything else is asserting something else. Remember, this man, even though he knew the truth and was telling it, he also implicated many of the falsitudes that come with the nationality or the notoriety and identity. Anyway, the hostile pressures surrounding the ghetto range from cold contempt to sporadic acts of violence to organized pogroms. Several centuries of living in such conditions must have favored the survival of the glibest and the most pliant of mentally resilient. In a word, the ghetto type. Whether such psychological traits are based on hereditary dispositions on which the selective process operates or are transmitted by social inheritance through childhood conditioning is a question still hotly disputed among anthropologists. We do not even know to what extent a high IQ is attributable to whether it is to heredity, and to what extent to what's that, Malu, Milieu, Malu, I guess. Take for instance, I gotta look that word up. Take for instance the Jews, once proverbial, abstemious, which some authorities on alcoholism regarded as a racial trait, but one can just as well interpret it as another inheritance from the ghetto, the unconscious residue of living for centuries under precarious conditions which made it dangerous to lower one's guard. Now the Jew with the yellow star on his back had no remain. Relax. Had to remain, cautious and sober while watching with amused contempt the antics of the drunken goyim, of the individuals. Revulsion against alcohol and other forms of debauchery was instilled from parent to child in successive generations until the memories of the ghetto faded. And with progressive assimilation, particularly in the Anglo-Saxon countries, the alcohol intake progressively increased. Thus, abstemious, what? Abstemious? I never heard of that word. Like so many other Jewish characteristics, I got to look that word up too. Let me mark these two words, y'all. I don't like when I see a word I never even heard of. That is a weird one. Let me go back over here. Mark this one. Milu. All right. Now I really do this. Okay. I have to know. So I can give it meaning or substance. Like so many other Jewish characteristics, turned out to be, after all, a matter of social and not biological inheritance. Social. That's why sociology is my major, y'all, because we've already cleared a few readings about how living in a certain place, remember we was reading about England, this, that, and the other, that a person can be one way, but put them in a different environment with different foods, different air quality, different heights, elevations, or not. And they, over a few generations, start to adapt. Anyway, lastly, there is yet another evolutionary process, evolution, right? Sexual selection, which may have contributed in producing the traits which we have come to regard as typically Jewish. Ripley seems to have been the first to suggest this, his italics, mind you. The Jew is radically mixed in the line of racial descent. He is, on the other hand, the legitimate heir to all Judaism as a matter of choice. It affected every detail of their life. Why should it not also react upon their ideal of physical beauty? And why not influence their sexual preferences, as well as determine their choice in marriage? Its results thus became accentuated through heredity. Ripley did not inquire into the ghetto's ideal of physical beauty, but Fishberg did, and came up with an appealing suggestion. To the strictly Orthodox Jew in Eastern Europe, a strong, muscular person is an Esau. The ideal of a son of Jacob was during the centuries before the middle of the 19th century. Wow. A silken young man, This was a delicate, anemic, willowy youth with a wistful expression, all brains and no brawn. But he continues in Western Europe and America, there is at present a strong tendency in the opposite direction. Many Jews are proud of the fact that they do not look like Jews. Considering this, it must be acknowledged that there is hardly a glowing future for the so-called Jewish caste of continents. Least of all, we may add, among young Israelis. We get to a summary of that next. Like I stated, you want to know who is Goyim and who is not? Well, we definitely are not. And we're not all mixed up. Even though if you were to go from 8, let me put it differently. If you want 200 generations, 8 to 8 billion, 200 generations. So we didn't know of race and all that other crap and nonsense, but we stayed in our lane until the 19th century. We stayed in our lane. So if anybody is of the purest, the perversion wants you to believe they're the purest and they're the most perverse. We are the last remnant of the purest on this soil. And that's with intention. They are dumb, but they're not too dumb. But some of the people in certain positions are very dumb. If I was to tell you if they can get us and harness us and gene and mess with us and utilize, and that's what they've been doing. Kidneys, lungs, hearts, livers. And ain't no telling what else. Hey, Papa. You want to say hi? Huh? Say hi. Say hi. You doing the knee stand. How you doing? Hi. Read time. He has to show himself, all right? Well, let's get into A Pale Horse. Behold a Pale Horse by William Cooper. What is it, Papa? He's just going to down. You're going to keep interrupting my reading. No, you're not interrupting, Papa. Yes. Oh, you get the head rub? You want a French fry? You know, I got sweet yams. I got yam fries. Yeah. Yes, I do. Yeah. Okay, let me read. Okay, let me read. All right. Okay, rub, dub. You was just sleeping, having a good little time. Now you going crazy, huh? What you doing? Go finish that. Eat that though. Finish that right there. Right here. You're not gonna finish it? No? Okay. All right. So, the African continent was infected via smallpox vaccine in 1977. We're starting right out the box, ain't we? The African continent was infected via smallpox vaccine in 1977. The vaccine was administered by the World Health Organization, according to Dr. Robert Strecker. Without a cure, the entire black population of Africa will be dead within 15 years. Some countries are well beyond epidemic status. Now, the U.S. population was infected in 1978 with the hepatitis B vaccine, Dr. Wolf Smooness. The ex-roommate of Pope John Paul II was the mastermind behind the November 1978 to October 1979 and March 1980 to October 1981 experimental hepatitis B vaccine trials conducted by the Centers for Disease Control in New York, San Francisco, and 4 other American cities. You can imagine which ones. He loosed the plague of AIDS on the American people. The gay population was infected. The ads for participants specifically asked for promiscuous homosexual male volunteers. To a fact, not some damn monkey out of Africa. Whatever causes AIDS was in the vaccine. The vaccine was manufactured and bottled in Phoenix, Arizona. And the order was given by the policy committee of the Bilderberg Group based in Switzerland. Other measures were also ordered, and the one you will be able to check the easiest is the Haig-Kissinger depopulation policy. Look it up. It's new. It's called HAIG space Kissinger, as in Henry Kissinger, depopulation policy, which is administered by the State Department. This policy dictates that third world nations take positive and effective steps to decrease their populations and hold them in check, or they get no aid from the United States. If the third world nations refuse, civil war usually breaks out, and the rebels are usually found to be trained, armed, and financed by the CIA. That is why many more civilians, especially young fertile females, than soldiers have been killed in El Salvador, Nicaragua, and other places. These wars have been instigated in Catholic countries by Jesuits. We can go back to chapter 2 and check it out if you want. The Haig-Kissinger depopulation policy has taken over various levels of government and is in fact determining U.S. foreign policy. The planning organization operates outside the White House and directs its entire efforts to reduce the world's population by 2 billion people through war, famine, disease, and any other means necessary. This group is the National Security Council's ad hoc group on population policy. The policy planning staff is in the State Department's Office of Population Affairs, established in 1975 by Henry Kissinger himself. This same group drafted the Global 2000 report to the president that was given to Carter. Now, Thomas Ferguson, the Latin American case officer of the State Department's Office of Population Affairs, OPA, made the following statements. There is a single theme behind all our work. We must reduce population levels. Either they do it or our way through nice, clean methods, or they will get the kind of mess that we have in El Salvador, or in Iran, or in Beirut. Population is a political problem. Once population is out of control, it requires authoritarian government, even fascism, mind you, to reduce it. The professionals, stated Ferguson, aren't interested in lowering population for humanitarian reasons. That sounds nice, and we know what the word nice means, don't we? Now, we look at resources and environmental constraints. Yes, the people who have been looking up and telling you about nice asked me, and I told them. Because I would get on them every time they says, that's nice. Stop using that word with me. And that's where you've been getting it from. Now, I know people don't believe it, but it is what it is. Yeah. Anyway, we look at resources and environmental constraints, and we look at our strategic needs, and we say that this country must lower its population or else we will have trouble. So steps are taken. El Salvador is an example in which our failure to lower population by simple means has created the basis for a national security crisis. Now, the government of El Salvador failed to use our programs to lower its population. Now they get a civil war because of it. There will be dislocation and food shortages. They still have too many people there. Civil wars are somewhat drawn out ways to reduce population. The quickest way to reduce population is through famine, like in Africa, or through disease, like the Black Death, or Black Syphilis in Vietnam, all of which might occur in El Salvador. His budget for fiscal year 1980 was $190 million. For fiscal year 1981, it was $220 million. The Global 2000 report calls for doubling that figure. Henry Kissinger created this group after discussion with leaders of the Club of Rome during the 1974 population conferences in Bucharest and Rome. The Club of Rome is controlled by Europe's black nobility. Alexander Haig is a firm believer in population control. It was Haig that backed Kissinger and pushed the OPA into action. That's enough tea on that matter. Now you see why I read what I did earlier and said what I said. People talk about things they should not be talking about. And this is not all of it. That's why I say do the research. There's more information. And I'm not going to sit here and throw all of it out on the table. I would never do that. You must know for yourself. Didn't that joker, bald-headed, shiny-headed Khalid Muhammad tell y'all the same thing? To know of self, you must study. He was all Pan-African. Then he turned around and says, yeah, people here orthodox are indigenous. The Negro is indigenous to America as they were everywhere in the world. Once he left the Nation of Islam, NOI. And why did he leave? Why was he pushed out? Well, you know, Farrakhan, like Jesse Messi, Jesse, and all of them are collaborators. It doesn't matter what you think or believe. Let's just do the small, simple research. Like I said, I have no problem with people's religion, this, that, belief, faith. What I have an issue with is people being dumb. Pretty good read, right? Hey, Snoop, what's up? Conservative. Okay. It's Kissinger Hague policy. You on it, baby girl. Hey, beloved Rondo. What's going on? Let me go to the top. Mikey Hill. What's going on, beloved? West Side, beloved. Rondo, beloved Mikey Hill. Yes, yes. Beloved. Oh, yes, yes. Appreciate you guys stopping in. All right. And we'll get into a little reading later. All right. Oh, somebody else donated. Who was it? Was it Pearl? I forget. Y'all know I gotta let you know. Like, that's what I'm supposed to do. Where's it at? Oh, Raymond just donated 15. No, why is this so late? Why is this not updating? Yes, that was Raymond the other day. Pearl, thank you, Pearl, for your donation, hon. Appreciate that. All right, it just updated. That's kind of weird. I might have to update those things. Anyway, what was that? What did I mean the word? All right, funny. Well, you know, it's a good read. I was reading 1491, showing all ceremonial houses. They don't want to show you the true history behind it, which we know about that. But there's this picture I want y'all to look at. I want to find it. I was attempting to Google it, which was very hard to do. But you see this picture right here? But I'm not gonna tell you what I was reading. When I decide to read these to you, it will be strictly one book after the next book after the next. I won't sit here and play. I don't have to read other books when I read this. But before I read these, I'm gonna read Not Out of Africa, blah 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 blah. Don't worry, later on we're gonna get into the women of Lemuria and so on and so on, because some things are based on, there's a reason, there's a rhythm to it. Okay, let's put it like that. All right. So yes, I'm about to take my skate oil. You take yours today, and if anybody hasn't purchased it, go ahead and get you some of this. It's really good. All right, fermented skate liver oil. Oh man, have any of y'all been practicing some of that falanga or qigong, whatever you want to call it? I call it falanga as far as for the heart exercise. Let's get 2 milliliters of this. 2 mils. Excuse me. Oh, this stuff is. I actually like the taste of this. I like bitters too, so. You don't have to let it sit on your tongue like I do. It just reminds me of a big fish, you know what I'm saying, mukbang or something, that's all. It is so good. This probably will last me for about a year, dead serious. I actually bought another one, so it's in the cupboard, it hasn't even been opened. And clean it out with hot water and then wipe it out, okay? So, both separate, I gotta clean this out. So I appreciate y'all taking the time to come in. Appreciate the donations always. Like I said, I'm not going to order no books. I've got over almost $1,000 worth of books to order. I was going to just order books as donations came in, but the books are all different prices, and they're fluctuating for some weird reason. So when I get to a certain number, I'll share it, and then I'll let you know what books I'm going to order. I've got to go check the mail too, so see if anything came in. See if there's anything in one of them little lockers. They leave the key in your little P.O. box, so maybe there is. Hope it'd be nice, right? So it melts under my tongue. Yeah. And my excursions and shallot. Oh, you got shallot tablets? Send me a few of them. Let me just try. Mail me a few of them. You got the P.O. box on there. Mail me like 5 of them. Let me just try them and see what they're like for 5 days. Before I even order that crap, I want to know what it's like, because they've got the stuff where you can mix and that. I don't know. You know what I mean? Mail me a few of them, honey, and I'll try them before I even think about purchasing this, because I'm already utilizing a lot of stuff to make a lot of corrections in the physical. You know what I mean? But yeah, I appreciate you guys, y'all, ladies, gals, and guys coming in and reading. Like I said, I'm not here to stop a damn thing. I am not here. I mean, all this information is obviously it's out there. Now, my opinion is just my opinion. Now, I don't like a lot of things. I don't like people wanting to steal a seat. But regardless of that, that's a whole nother you don't need to worry about. When I tell you nah, and I tell you what, those terms have been misused, misappropriated, and changed so many times. I believe even the enemy has forgotten. Nah, like the jinn, zuni, zini, black, darkness. Nah is darkness. Hawa, hawa, ha, haya, whatever the made up shit. Hawa is light. And there are other terms. We don't need to worry about all that. There are more terms that are not so protracted. But I appreciate you all coming in. My brother Westside. Hey, Wes, did you get that? Anyway, we have great chats. Don't forget to send me, because you didn't send me yesterday, bro. Send me the ones that you utilize, okay? Just send it to me. I can set it up myself. I'm very computer literate. I just look at it. I look at the stuff they got, and it's like, well, some of that's hogwash. And I'm like, no. And so I uploaded one, and I can move stuff around. You got to remember, I'm using a laptop that is from 2000. The one that I'm using right now is from 2013. No, 2011. 2011. My Via? 2011. Yeah, 2011. I bought my wife, my ex-wife, and me one at the same time. He runs perfect. I got my Eric Snowden, who's nosy and probably playing the field, okay? Because they like them little goofy, weird ones. I'm not dumb. If he only do what I do. But other than that, I appreciate you guys. So let me get the F off of here. And mail that out as soon as possible. Don't talk about a month later. Oh, I forgot to mail me about 5 of them so I can see how. I guess 5, right? 5 or 7 will be a load, right? And if I feel a little difference, then what I'll do is I will go ahead and I will tell everybody, hey, look, man, this is the benefit what I'm getting from. But get your blood checked. Gotta get your blood checked, people. If you don't trust the doctors, get a family doctor, somebody you can trust within, you know what I'm saying? You could pay the little extra, $300 or $400 for blood work, and they're not going to, tell them, hey, look, take them out. You don't need to take all that goes over there to this government that takes those bloods and they use it for nefarious reasons. I just wanted to try, because if I get it, the whole thing, it's like I can't, the NMN, which works for a lot of people, but it makes my fingers tickle and numb because I don't need it. I'm youthful. I'm very youthful. I don't, and can have an adverse effect. I don't want to be taking something and be like, the brain is working, but the body's not all there. No, I was kidding. Overcome anything. Appreciate you, honey. Yeah, you got the P.O. box. I'll make sure it's the right. Let me make sure it's the right one. I didn't even check it when I put it up there. You know me, I'm quick sometimes. I'm just fast. Look. You got patience. Yeah, I'm silly. I know it. Let me be silly. Yep, it's right. That's right. Thank you, bud. Anyway, guys, let me get off of here. I'm gonna run out over there. It's going on 1 o'clock, and see if there's anything in the box. All right, and then we'll come back. I haven't eaten yet, so I'm gonna eat here in about 45 minutes. So we'll come back, I guess around 4 o'clock. And Westside, if you plan on going live, let me know. I peeped the other one, man. That was pretty good. But anyway, yeah, I share everything. But if you are, maybe we could do a share. Inform me as to what. Maybe I can pull up some information, or maybe I have some, whatever it's at. It doesn't matter what it is. Oh yeah, like I was saying, I was watching this thing. I was on my tablet looking up something, and I get notifications like crazy. And it's this kid, Alfonso, the third, Sanchez or something like that, in Colorado. Skinny cat. Now he had a tattoo of the all-seeing eye, on the dollar bill. He had the, where's my wallet? I usually don't keep money in my wallet. Okay, let me see if I got $1 in here. All right. This tattoo on his neck. He had a weird tattoo on his face. Skinny. He looked like a Native American, but he's Spanish, I guess. What you want to say? But anyway, he's driving this little jacked up, look like a California car. This is Colorado, so they did a pit on him. They're chasing this guy, and they pit him, and they get him out, and he's going, what the fuck? And he's like real nervous. I'm thinking this cat's a clone or something. I think a lot of cops aren't too bright, and I believe he's out there to create more fractures. Just listen. Just listen. I'm not saying I'm right. It's hypothetical. And they put him in the back of this car, and they take his shoes off. He's handcuffed. He's sitting back there in no less than a minute. He done scooped his hands under his butt. The camera in the car is set up, and the partition is open. He gets his feet out because he's like this. He's looking like they're gonna kill me. Because he said somebody was shooting at him. He didn't know what was going on, so he was running. So instead of them listening to what he said, they ignored that. They pitted the car, they handcuffed him, put him in the thing. They said, oh, he has a gun. Why would he have to have a gun driving? It's Colorado, you can have a firearm. Was he a felon? Nobody said nothing. Nobody pulled up the information. See, I looked at this and I was like, He jumps in the front of the cruiser, the patrol car, and hauls butt. Now he's handcuffed, no seatbelt on. He flips the lever, and you hear him rustle around. He turns the light and sirens on so he doesn't cause an accident. He can run through traffic. They have police cars up ahead, and they're laying out the spikes. The third one gets them. Now, mind you, they spike them where cars and trucks are pulled over. Hits the spikes. This little car this patrol car doing 120 miles per hour, slams into this truck. And they pull him out. He's alive. He's responding. They didn't try and save him. They just pulled him out, talking about he might catch on fire. But he dies before he gets to the hospital. They really believe the people are dumb. They believe that you are dumb. Okay? I'm just saying hypothetical. I know you're not. I'm just saying. So please, check into it if you want. Now, this is, I guess, the other day. Okay? If you're not a member, become a member of USCCA. I'm going to go ahead and see if they can sponsor me on YouTube. YouTube has been freeing up a little space, and some people feel intimidated, like TikTok, got a lot of Pelicans over there who are just dumb racists, who don't know no better, and I'm educating them because I don't argue with people, and they don't know how to act or what to say. But I'm not going to sit there and quantify their stupidity. I prefer them to stay where they're at. Not all, but some got to get what they got coming. If they were smart, they would change up, but they're not too bright. And so, yeah. And I'll show y'all later on. I'm going to show y'all some things, all right? And so I'm on my third meal today, and it's the beef stew. So I like that one, but I put a lot of green chili and hot sauce in there. I just like spicy, and I like the green chili. And if you're not used to eating those ones, you'll be in the bathroom, you know what I'm saying? So I'll show you that too, how I prep that. So what I want to do is I want to eat one of those a day because they're high in calories. So I'm only eating 2 meals a day. And I'll show you how I prep it and get it all set up and everything, and then how long it takes and all that. For those who know, you know. This is for the people who don't. If you want to invest, I want to do it for 7 days just to make sure my system is going to be all right after you've been eating. Stop eating all that other crap, And I've had this stuff for years. All the shelf life, it's dehydrated, it's freeze dried. I'm gonna show you some heaters and some stuff like that. Some things maybe you might want to purchase just in case. I mean, if they drop the bomb on you, what you got to wear? Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. And then I'm gonna share some other things that you might want to employ for those of you who have vehicles, electric bikes or whatever, that may help. Okay, if something was to happen. But 9 times out of 10, they wouldn't tell you if there was going to be an airburst. They've done them a few times, and the effects was never the truth was never told about what actually happened. But I'm going to show you a few things, okay? Love y'all, my beloved sisters, my brothers. I know we got people that can't hang in there, and we got people that come looking. Yeah, I'm not some of the brothers that do what they do, talking about the Second Amendment all day and this and that and the other. I don't care about that shit no more. Right? I don't recognize government. I don't recognize perversions. I don't really recognize the liars. I don't recognize them, and I don't care about them. They made their deal. Okay? Just don't y'all make no dumb deal. Okay? And they wasted good magic. They sure did. Very stupid. Well, gotta look into it, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'll chat with y'all later.